most people use their work and their identity and their clothes to as armor to make them feel safe.
Mm-hmm.
And when you actually stand on the street in New York City to present yourself, people are just walking by it. They're ignoring you. Yeah. So you actually need to build this strength. Like, no, I actually do have something and it will come through and someone will recognize that.
Yeah.
And I'm going to do this with dignity. And then eventually, for me, selling on the street was incredible because I ended up getting a huge reputation when I got sober.
Sometimes.
Just sometimes, the sequel is better than the original.
Mm-hmm. From setbacks to comebacks, this is Love Take Two. Let's go.
Buenos dias, Jamie.
Buenos dias, Jose. It's so nice to be back together again.
I know.
So good to be in the studio.
How's your morning?
Crazy. I got splashed by a cab.
Really?
That really happens in New York City, y'all.
It does.
It's not something that just happens in the movie. Because I inched out into the street and it's all slush right now because it's snow.
Well, you can't even tell if it's slush or it's ice or it's whatever it is.
If it's this deep or this deep. Like I got off the bus yesterday and it looked like it was going to be like a whole pool. And I was like, I looked at the bus driver like, you got to move. Like I can't. And then I went down and it wasn't even a puddle at all. Anyway, so I got splashed this morning. So there's like stuff all over my pants and I didn't bring a different pair of pants. Like mess.
I have a feeling this might be part of your take two.
It's actually not.
It's not. Okay. Let's talk about my friend Alexis Bittar.
Alexis Bittar. It's like my new favorite name to say.
It's beautiful.
Alexis Bittar.
He is a visionary jewelry designer who built an empire from the streets of New York City. He was selling St. Mark's Street when he was
like
12, all the way up to like 15, 16. And what started with selling vintage pieces on St. Mark's as a teenager evolved into a globally recognized brand known for its hard-carved, lucite, and bold wearable art.
Famous.
A CFDA accessory designer of the year, Alexis has dressed icons like Beyoncé, Michelle Obama, Lady Gaga.
Just a couple folks.
Yeah. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. And I have to say for him, what I love is being able to go from his take one moment of selling his jewelry on the street, building this empire. And then what he ended up doing was he sold his company in 2015. And then because he was really focused on becoming a father. And he was a single father for a long time. That's how him and I met. And then he reclaimed his name back.
Crazy.
He got it back. And it's a completely different company now because it's truly authentically who he is as a New Yorker, as a human, and it's so unapologetic.
Yes,
and
he leaned
amazing.
into the unapologetic authenticity, and it's a really fascinating story.
Yeah.
He's a fascinating person.
He is. Flowers are my take now.
Are you kidding me? I was just thinking I might say take two as flowers.
Really? No, you know what? It's
flowers.
It's just I never throw them out when I'm supposed to, and they get stinky and I see flowers all the time as a wedding planner. I love succulents.
Okay.
Succulents are different.
I love
They're
succulents.
like, those are great. I think if I were to get married again, I would just do all succulents.
And then let people take home a succulent.
And then let people
I like
take
that.
it
I like
home.
that. I'm down with that.
Yeah.
But I do love flowers. I'm not going to agree with you on that.
Okay, that's okay. My take two, hour-long showers. Hour-long showers.
I love a long shower.
I used to love taking long showers, but I rush through them now because of the kids.
And we're always in a rush.
And I shower before they leave the house. I'm making a choice to shower after they leave the house.
And take your time.
And take my
then
time.
it cuts into the day, though.
That's okay.
Then it cuts into the day. It's hard. It's a tricky situation. I hear you.
While I'm taking my hour-long shower.
I've been showering this week. I've been showering at the gym so far, and I hate that. But it's all there. So I have to because I have to come here. I have to look nice. I have to put makeup on in this gym. Oh, take two is the lady who was reading an actual book on the bus this morning.
Ooh.
She looked so peaceful, and I thought, I want to be her right now. I want to do what her day is today, right now. She just looked good. Remember when everybody used to have books on public transit?
Yeah.
Nobody does anymore. Have you noticed that? It's all everybody looking at their phone.
Back when Harry Potter was big, you just saw Harry Potter books everywhere.
I would see, and I always had a book on the subway. Now I'll read on my phone which is not the same. Having the book in hand. Take two on that. I miss books.
Last time I read a book was between 5th and 6th grade.
Interesting.
When they had to pass.
Interesting.
What's it called when you go to summer school? Okay. And I had to read The Outsiders, which was amazing. That was the last book I read.
Wow. I have a stack of books next to my bed. I read.
I read articles and magazines. I just don't do books.
But I got tired that's the thing. I got tired of carrying the book around, so I put the Kindle on my phone, but I think I need to bring the books back. I think
it's sexy when I see a guy have a book.
It is. Take two to this was an old lady, so I wasn't thinking sexy, but I hear you.
Yeah.
I hear you. This is what I need to take down. Take down the fact that it is always so much harder for me to think of the take two than it is to think of the take down. Take that all the way down. Why are the takedowns so easy to come up with and the take twos so hard?
Because we live in that world. We just want to take everything down.
We're just angry all the time. We want to hear from you all at home. What are your take twos and what are your take downs of the week? And is it harder for you to think of the take two, or are you much more happy than we are? So we're happy. Put a comment on Spotify or YouTube or on our Instagram. You can also DM us at Love Take Two Pod. So do it. Make sure you're subscriing and rating and reviewing. Too.
All the things.
Let's
get into Alexis.
Yes, let's do it. Roll it. I don't know why I just said that. Alexis Bittar. I love your name.
Oh, thank you.
It's a beautiful name.
It's a fun name to say.
Thank
Alexis
you.
Bittar.
Got a lot of shit for it when I was growing up.
Yeah.
Rich Brooklyn.
Oh, I can imagine.
Yeah.
Like what? What would be the...
Actually, the truth is it was a little bit later when Dynasty came.
Oh, Alexis.
Right. Yeah. When Dynasty came on the scene, it changed the name Alexis forever because it was actually a super uncommon name.
Yeah.
Pre-Dynasty. So I think post-Dynasty, it really forever shifted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And people were like, isn't that a girl's name? And Bay Ridge was it's pretty conservative, as you know. It's like very blue collar, like Italian, Irish cops and firemen. And we were just there yesterday sledding. But we were definitely like an oddball couple. And my dad's Syrian, so that's where the Bittar comes.
Okay.
And my mom's Irish.
And so Alexis.
Yeah.
I can understand that. One of my best friends is Alexis. She,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually a men's name.
Yeah.
Interesting.
In Greece, it's a Greek name. In Russia, it's Alexei. But Dynasty, she scooped it.
Scooped it up.
And then it was
as she should have.
As she should have. That's why we used her as an ad.
I want to tell you, I go to the gym with my mom friends every morning, and I was talking to one of my mom friends this morning at the gym. I said, have you heard of Alexis Bittar? She was like, do I know Alexis Bittar? Do I not walk by his shop every week? Do I know Alexis Bittar? And I was like, I'm interviewing him today. She was like, I'm coming with you.
That's cute.
So you're something else. It's pretty impressive. I would never know that you're a jewelry maker, like just looking at you.
Yeah.
Do you hear that a lot?
Yeah. I think I am pretty understated.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
I love that.
So we've known each other for quite some time. We're going to get into that a little bit. But I think...
And I love you.
I love you too.
Love you.
God, I just love all of you.
Oh.
One of the things that I find really fascinating, I've always found fascinating, is when we met...
It was dark. No.
It was dark. It was a dark period in our lives. And maybe our version may be a little bit different, but my version of meeting you was... I was walking down, we live in the same neighborhood, Brooklyn Heights, and walking down, and there's this little kiddie park that is right outside the ice cream shop. And I saw you there. And I was so used to seeing moms. And I just saw you with your two beautiful kids. And I was like, wait, something's a little off here. I felt like
he's gay.
We looked at each other for like that half a second too long.
Right.
That tells you, he might be family.
Yeah.
And then I don't remember who spoke to who. I probably initiated it. And I was like, hey, I'm new here. I just moved to the neighborhood.
I'd like to roll back
the tape.
Because I'm also someone who would just go up. But anyway, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And it was just shocking. Like in that moment, we discovered that we're both single fathers.
Yeah.
I had my 3.
It was a gift.
A gift.
It really was.
Wow.
Yours was.
Meeting you was a gift.
Thank you.
It was.
Sweet.
It's just a gift to meet like another single dad.
Totally.
I feel like, I guess there's more of it now. And I talked to gay men who I know had kids like 20 years ago, and there was very few out there then. Mm-hmm. But I just think any single parent, like I know lots of moms now, actually moms who spent time with me, and saw me do it and then decided later on that they also could be single moms.
Oh, wow.
I just think any parent who's like a single parent, it's like you're always looking for single parents by choice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And just also single parent, like the trials and tribulations of being a single parent, which is really intense.
I can only imagine.
It's really intense.
Its own beast.
Well, and I think what connected us too is that it seemed, you're right, at that time we didn't know that many other gay dads, and you had just gotten out of something, a pretty volatile situation, maybe
a toxic relationship.
A toxic relationship.
Uber toxic.
Uber toxic. Without getting into too many details, I had
Let me give you his name. No.
And I had just lost Tim, and it just felt so comforting because I just didn't know anybody in the neighborhood. Everybody was friendly, but I felt very alone.
Also, you're Latin in Brooklyn Heights. I mean, you're going to feel alone, period.
That's Do you know when I first came into the building and I'd walk in with bags, I'd be accused of being the delivery guy?
Yeah. I bet.
Yeah, well, I 100% did.
Brooklyn Heights, it's
God.
real.
Yeah.
It's real in Brooklyn Heights.
It's real.
People know me now, but even back then, if I was walking down Girolamo with a bunch of grocery bags, people were so put out by me, like
taking up
get out of my
space.
way, like here comes another delivery guy,
That's why when I see Jose across the street, I'll be like, "Yo, Baba Jula." And he's always like, it's like I busted his cover. He's like trying to like have a conversation with some nice white mom. And I'm screaming at him. And he's like,
It's true. It is true.
You with all the tattoos.
I'm always giving him shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When we think about take one going into take two, the way that I see it for you is that you started out like selling on St. Mark's Street, like jewelry and some stuff at 15. No, you were 15 years old? Were you younger?
Much younger.
Oh, wow.
I was 10 years old.
You were like peddling on the street?
I was 10 in Bay Ridge.
In Bay Ridge.
And then 13 to 18, I was on St. Mark's.
13 to 18.
Selling jewelry on the street.
I started selling vintage jewelry on St. Mark's, 13.
Wow.
But then I was selling vintage clothes. This is 1982, so it was pre-vintage clothes stores.
Uh-huh.
I mean, there was this store Unique in Canal Jeans, for those old enough to remember, but that had a few little antique racks, vintage racks. But yeah, that's what I did.
In that take one space, you built an empire. You had
I have minions.
You built your empire.
Yep.
And you ended up in 2015-ish. You ended up selling your business, your name.
Yeah, I sold it twice.
Okay.
So I sold it in 2012, and then the final was in 2015.
Okay.
Yeah, I had 450 employees.
Oh.
Yeah.
And I was selling all over the world to 1,500 stores and had 15 freestanding stores. Yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then you decided you sold it, and we're going to go back, but you sold it, and then you decided to start a family. And I think you were already starting that process already because our kids are the same age. So we're looking at 2014, 2013.
Yeah, I think I started that in 2013,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
2012, 2013. I made that decision after the first time I sold to have kids.
Yeah.
And I guess by 2013, I started going very kind of pedal to the metal on that process. And I realized that, I guess I could not be the CEO, run the business, design, creative director, and raise children as a single parent, which at that specific time was the only way I was going to have kids was a single parent. I was not in a relationship or one that I wanted to have kids with someone with. Yeah.
And then in 2021, you ended up buying your name back. And that's the part that I feel like what we're going to get into in a little bit is very much your take two moment, because you have flipped fashion and jewelry, the industry, on its back in ways that I think everybody is just so excited about.
Oh, thanks.
Did you feel you were, when in selling your business and thinking about selling your business and starting a family, sure, part of it was maybe starting a new family, but did you feel a burnout?
You mean when I sold?
Yeah.
I felt like I had achieved everything I wanted to do at that specific point in time. I built my business organically, not going to school. I'm a dropout. I'd say for the first 15 years of having the business, it was really organic. And for the first, 5 or 10, it's just like, I'm just, feeding myself, I didn't really get a business plan until I was probably, I want to say 35-ish, 34, somewhere in there, where I was really like, okay, what do I want to do with this business? And then I really was very clear. And I wrote it all out. I'm a big proponent of writing out your dreams, and then putting actionable goals with those dreams on a calendar.
We were just talking about that.
Yeah, I found that very helpful, very helpful. It changed my life. So I wrote out what I wanted to achieve. And, one of those things was becoming a global business and brand in this space, which there weren't any models that I could emulate in front of me. So I had to really kind of carve that space in costume jewelry. It's like a terrible name, but that is what it is. And so in terms of the volume, in terms of with, wholesale, all of it, I felt like I had really reached that place.
Yeah.
Won my awards.
You were everywhere. You won awards.
Yeah. I did, So I felt like I had done what I wanted to do, which was at that point then sell the first time, which was in 2012. Gotcha. Once I won the CFDA, which was a big deal, like there's only 5 jewelry brands that have won the CFDA. It's all the fashion designers of America.
Okay.
Council of Fashion Designers.
It's not specific to jewelry.
So there's only 5. It's like
it means you're the real deal.
Yeah, I'm the real deal. Yeah, exactly. Thanks. Yeah. And so once I won that, then everyone wanted to buy the business. So it was like I really went into kind of this fast track on selling. And I'd say I definitely burnt out when I sold the first time, because I had sold to private equity. Yep. So I think going from being an entrepreneur who had never worked for another company and built my business and value system organically, and then partnering with a very large private equity, and then dealing with kind of a management team that I'd never been exposed to, that changed my perception. And also just like, I was kind of like, where is this going? Like, what am I doing? It's like, yeah, I could make another 100 million, but why? At that point I was like, I've done it. Like, I'm done.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, then when you decided to become a dad, I mean, what was that space where around the time we met, what was that space like for you to be able to not have to think about the business in that sense? And then at what point?
You mean when I left the business?
Yeah. And
it was weird. Yeah. I mean, I remember people, at least who knew me through work, were like, how are you ever going to be a parent? Because my brain moves so quickly. And I was really scheduled to the 15-minute increments, so I'm just like constantly boom, 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 jumping from design to marketing. Blah, blah, blah. It's not like I had tons of experience with kids.
Right.
I just really wanted to be a parent, which kind of was naive, but I was like,
we're all naive when we go into it.
Like, I was depressed at the idea I wasn't going to be a parent. So it was really important to me. And what was amazing is once I had kids, it was completely natural and automatic. I was shocked. And it was easy to turn that off. When I left the business, it was like done. I also was completely done with fashion. And I've always been at odds with the industry and the value systems around the fashion industry. So it's always been a real struggle for me to feel true to being in the industry where it's so much about externals and making consumers feel insecure so that they purchase more. And they can never actually achieve this standard that is completely unachievable on every level. And logo centric or whatever. And I'm, it's like my upbringing is completely the antithesis of that. So I've always felt like I love the creativity, but I struggle with the industry. So I was happy to exit. Like I didn't look at a magazine. I didn't look at anything. I was just done. Full-time parent.
I have to say that I love hearing you say that because, I decided last year after 16 years to take a year off of doing weddings and events.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. And part of it for me was I love the creativity. I love doing the design. For me, that's fun. But I think our industry, the wedding industry, is a multi-billion-dollar industry, is the most wasteful industry. You can spend, I could do a, $500,000 wedding, $1 million wedding, and these flowers are going to be, it costs $200,000.
Right.
And it's only going to be up for 6 hours.
Right. Yeah.
And then it goes in the fucking trash.
Yeah.
Right. And then you do weddings at the plaza and it's like all of this food of abundance and it just goes to the trash with all the shit that's going on in the world.
Yeah.
So for me, I've always struggled with that part of the industry, but I did love the creativity. I do love the creativity. And I actually love the community, which I think is maybe a little bit different than fashion. I think fashion, because we do get a lot of fashion folks that come into the wedding space, it tends to be a little bit more cutthroat. But yeah, for me, it was like time to take a break.
So how do you rectify that because you went back, right? So how do you push through feeling at odds? Like, where do you go with that?
I think every human being lives in some level of conflict, right? And you have to just get accustomed to that. That being said, I definitely leaned into different elements of messaging around marketing that felt way more true to who I was. Could even be, or I should say are, the antithesis of like good business. So I feel like I'm true to myself in my branding and marketing and what I'm about, whether it sells product or not. Which I'm sure like private equity would be like, okay, that was crazy.
I love it because it's like you're bringing your values with you. You're bringing through this what can be a toxic industry. You're holding fast to your values and making good out of it
on every level. Like I think I can see it with everything I do, basically. So amazing. And then I still design what I want. Before I was a 75% wholesale and 25% direct to consumer. All these large stores like Neiman's and Saks and Nordstrom's #1 designer vendor. So Bergdorf's, in this category. So there's a lot of voices of needs that they wanted. I removed that. I flipped it. So now we're 25% wholesale and 75% direct to consumer. So I'm basically designing what I want, and either you're buying it or not, and I'm actually not even offering the full selection. And then with the marketing, I think the social values are really like layered on thick.
I want to talk about this.
Yeah.
I had like the honor of seeing some of this stuff before it went live. You're like, look, this is what I'm thinking. And I'm like, holy shit.
Like what?
He's not fucking around at all. And what I will say is I remember years ago, I think Dove did a campaign was, around Lafayette, down in Lower East Side, whatever. And they did these big campaigns where they were featuring thicker women.
Yep, I remember.
And I remember that, I remember that being brave. I remember that being a bit of a shift. But for me, it still felt very safe. It felt very safe. And looking at your stuff before it went live, it was clear to me that he is not playing the safe game.
Yeah.
And he has been featured. I mean, your social media, you feature everything from thick women, skinny women where you did a whole campaign around breast cancer, but done in a way that was really raw and authentic. And then all of the stuff that you put out on social media and a lot of older women, which you don't see in the industry at all. And the stuff is insane. The stuff you're putting out there, the scripted stuff and the characters that you've all created and made up. It's just really, it's turned everything on its head. And it's remarkable.
It is pretty cool.
It's cool.
I mean, definitely the long form narratives changed the marketing game for sure.
Yeah.
Like created a whole new game.
Can you talk a little bit about what did you do with the long form narrative?
Mm-hmm.
So this was in 21, I guess, right? Or 22. I guess it was 22. And so what I thought is if I'm going to have to be on Instagram, which I was never on Instagram, how do I want to show up in a way that feels authentic to me? So what I did was, this is a long answer to your very short question, was I created these scripts that were these characters that were the antithesis of fashion marketing. The first was Teresa, and she was in Coney Island in a lawn chair, like in the middle of April, you know, with a leopard, you know,
I see her
swimsuit, you know, and she's got marble tucked in her bra, and she's wearing my jewelry, and she's like someone who I grew up with.
And
she's speaking, and she's like 65 and chic and sexy as fuck.
Yeah.
Sexy. She's reading sex.
Yeah.
Right?
I hear you.
Total strength. Gutter mouth. Like it's me basically. But people were so relieved to hear how she was talking because there was so much policing and political correctness from the left.
Right.
That people were like, oh my God. Thank you for actually showing this. Like this, this was New York.
Unapologetically.
Yeah, it was unapologetic, and it was New York. I was wanting to show New York because also New York was suffering back then. It was COVID, so it was bleak, and it was my love letter to New York because it's like this is the New York that I know. You know, this isn't what we're seeing in COVID plus this kind of new left political craziness, and. What was also interesting about her, not to dig too much into Teresa, but she could have been Republican or Democrat. You weren't really sure.
That's right. That's right.
You weren't really sure what she was, actually. She
was just raw.
She was just
real.
Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Would she be okay with the tranny on the street? Yes, she would have been. Do you know what I mean? Like she would have been like, that's my cousin Louisa.
Yeah, right.
Totally fine. You know? And that's right. I voted Republican.
Right.
You make a couple cameo appearances in
I
these
make
videos.
cameos, yeah. So that was the first. Then I created Margot and Jules, and Margot is this Upper East Side, like 19. Has she seen?
No,
I
he's
haven't.
a great. She's
she's a legend. She actually truly.
I have to watch
it was
all
a friend of
these.
mine. I was like, my friend Pat. I've known her forever, and she was like, "Why didn't you cast me for Teresa?" And I said, "You're not Teresa. She's." Patricia Black, she's amazing. I've known her forever. She's trans, she's gorgeous, real character. She's tough. I said, that's not you. You're not that person. Let me write something for you. So I created Margot, this Upper East Side, alcoholic, compulsive shopper. She basically grew up in Brooklyn, married her way up. She's on her third husband. She killed the first two. And she has this personal assistant that she's super abusive and dismissive with, and whose name is Jules, which really isn't her name. Her name is Hazel, but she can't be bothered to learn her name, and she's super abusive and dismissive. And Jules grew up in Tampa, Florida. She's a trans girl who came here and was stripping and was trying to get out of the stripping world and wants to be. I've already lost her. She's
Not
already
at all.
She's in it.
This is like Tales of the City. This is like a TV show.
And
we
basically, that is what's still happening. And so she wants to get out of the stripping world, and she takes this job to work for Margot, and her world opens up. And so Margot is a celebrity. She is a New York icon. So I said to Patricia Black, I'm going to make you an icon, which I did.
Yeah.
I mean, I did. It's like you go out with Pat now. People are like wanting her order. You know what I mean? People are taking
Wow.
Yeah. So I basically built this world around her where, you know, people like Law Roach or Iman or, you know, whatever, all these people are like talk to this character as if they have known her forever. You know, Susan Sarandon or whoever it is, all these people.
They all know.
They all love Margot. Yeah.
Well,
they love and hate her.
Susan Sarandon on as well, right?
Susan Sarandon.
God,
yeah, we've got so many people on.
And you did all of this in an attempt to keep your authenticity intact.
Well, the messaging is so layered. right? It's so layered because here you have Patricia Black, who is trans, playing a woman most people don't know she's trans. I mean, I don't think really very many people know she's trans. We never talk about it. We're never like, oh, and we never, it's a show, right? It's supposed to be a documentary. And she can say stuff like, in my day, it was called tranny, and you have Jules, who's very politically correct and kind of that new model who's always trying to correct Margot and keep her in check because Margot's an alcoholic and just like letting it loose, constantly drinking. And so we can touch on all sorts of things. So it's constantly staying on social events, social commentary, and complex.
Not that you necessarily give a shit what the industry, how they might view you, but do you pay attention to like how people in the industry have looked at your stuff?
Well, I know
like
for
competitors
a fact they all knocked it off.
Yeah.
Because I would hear about it right in the very beginning. Because people would tell me, they would say, your work is on everyone's mood board. Like, and so now I see the Instagram, whether it's Gucci or whoever, they're all doing long form narratives. Like they're all, it can drive me a bit crazy. But they're all doing these long form narratives of just changed it. I mean, there's companies now that's what they do.
That's it, yeah.
I mean, I was like, shit, I should have done that. I should have done that thing.
Well, I know because we're talking about jewelry, and now you're creating an entire world. I mean, it's fantastic. And you're just leaning into like that's what I feel your take too is like my takeaway from you right now is like lean into your fucking gut and lean into your authenticity. And lean in hard and go there.
But it is interesting because, I mean, from a business sense, we're not really sure that it's actually connected to a dollar. But what it did do, I mean, it definitely built a halo on the brand for sure.
Yeah.
But it definitely stayed true to me. That's for sure. You know what I mean? And I had fun doing it, which I guess is the point. We didn't lose money. We're not losing money.
In the middle of all of this, you also found love again.
Oh, I did.
And you got married.
I did. I got married.
You had another kid.
A beautiful wedding back home where you
at Jack's parents.
Yeah,
I did.
And had another child.
I had another child. I got very lucky. I found someone who was able and willing to put up with me and love me at the same time. Yeah. It was beautiful, and I got very lucky. Yeah.
You were so protective of your children. You were not fucking around, and you were not just going to let any guy come around your kids. And to be able to see someone as beautiful as Jack, both inside and out, you even with him, you took your time with him.
I did only let a few people in.
You did. And I've been able to see your kids go from seeing this other sort of, adult figure to, because I have the luxury of sometimes when our kids were in elementary school, I'm sometimes walking behind you and Jack or across the street from you and Jack. And I've seen that transition go from them by your side to slowly creeping their way to Jack to sometimes just Jack with your kids.
Yeah.
And that's the goal.
Yeah.
Right?
Totally. Yeah.
What's been eye-opening at becoming a father again, and this time with a partner?
Having two kids and then having a 7-year gap, I think it is, I'm way more relaxed. Like,
really?
So much more relaxed. I mean, you always hear that, but like, I'm totally relaxed. I don't get stressed at all like I did with Sophie and Ivan. So it's much easier. I feel like I can enjoy it without this fear of the unknown. And, we were talking about it before where you want to feel like you're doing a good job, and especially if you're a first-time parent. And so and also with twins, you're kind of like, I didn't have a network around me. I didn't have family around me. So it was really like constantly feeling like, am I doing a good job? And I think having a third child after twins, it's kind of like I can trust myself. I got this. I don't have to overthink it. The other thing is I'm working now, which is I wasn't before. So that's kind of a bummer, quite honestly, because I don't see her as much Jack is the one who's really with her. So that's a big shift for me, but I'm okay with it. Obviously, there was the evolution of parenting with Jack with the twins,
with Sophie and Evan,
and then with Opal, which is totally different dynamic.
Yeah.
And you're both very different.
Well, Jack and I are totally different.
Yeah.
I mean, completely, right? I mean, opposites attract. And so.
But it's been your rules for so many years. Was it really like challenging to give up some of that?
Definitely.
Right? Like,
I mean,
we've
Jack's
talked about
controlling.
That. Yeah.
He is the most alpha sub. No. He's alpha, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and so, I mean,
Yeah.
there's no making him do anything, which is why we're together. It's like he completely lets me have it. I'm scared of him. And I had to learn how to compromise. I mean, that's the bottom line with any couple, right? You learn how to compromise and pick and choose your battles. And you're like, okay, I'm not, why am I picking that one? I mean, it's the same thing with parenting, right? Do I need to say this right now?
Right.
And I think it's beautiful seeing him parent and love parenting from the very beginning and not having to walk into a dynamic where, as a step parent, it's so much more challenging.
Yeah.
For some people more than others, but like it's challenging. Like that takes some, hard, big balls to deal with that,
Yeah.
It's not easy.
No.
Yeah.
I say with Thomas, I'm like, he goes from teaching 75 middle schoolers and then he comes home to my 3 middle schoolers. It's a lot. Just like your kids love Jack. It's like they're all about him, which is great for me.
Right.
Because it allows me to be a little bit more, flexible.
It's funny. Sophie relates more to Jack, and at least externally.
Yeah. That's what I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got to be interesting having been the only adult in the room for so long with your kids and then letting them relate to someone else and watching that happen. It's just got to be such a trip.
Well, honestly, it feels good when it's happening. What it doesn't feel good is I actually think, to me, there's like probably more than 3 stages, but with a step parent, the first stage is generally pretty good because, they're bringing cookies, Jack's bringing cookies. Yeah. There's like whatever. Kids are like, oh, I like this person. Then once the kids realize that person's not leaving, that's when it gets tricky. Then there's a little fear and they're kind of shutting off a bit emotionally and you have to kind of work through that. And the step parent has to not get defensive, which is hard. And then eventually it integrates. But sometimes that can take a while.
And all the while you have to tend to the relationship. Because that's the important thing.
All
or
of
else it all falls apart.
Yeah, all of it. So you're trying to connect with your partner and also, you're wanting to make sure the kids feel seen and heard, but not triangulate so it basically destroys itself, so that triangulation can be quite tricky. Yeah, it's complicated. I didn't, of course, know anything about step parenting because, my parents were married. But yeah, it's hard. It's hard work. Yeah.
I want to ask you about legacy because I just turned 50 and I did not like it.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah. You sent me that text.
I didn't like it because I feel like,
Well, try 60. Because it's coming.
Well, if
you're lucky.
No, this is what, if you're lucky, right?
Yeah.
Nothing is promised to you, right?
I got 50 coming up.
Because what happens?
I'm 57, just to get it,
I think there's something about turning 50. It's like you realize, oh, the math is mathing.
Yeah.
When you start thinking about, well, how old am I going to be when da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And so I know that even before turning 50, legacy's always been an important thing for me. Even before I hit post on something, I'm always imagining my kids at 30, at whatever age, looking back and what are they looking back at, And so, and sometimes some of my decisions are based on that. I'm like, maybe not, but as long as it still stays authentic to me. And so do you think about legacy?
So legacy is interesting because I think we are all forgotten, right? Like I've heard that like you'll be lucky to be remembered in 2 generations,
Right.
So I think it's probably not useful to think about legacy except for your children.
Well,
right?
that's
that
it for
is
me.
it.
It's only for my children.
Yeah.
It doesn't go beyond my children.
It kind of doesn't go beyond my children either.
Yeah.
So it's not like I'm expecting like people are going to remember, oh, Alexis Bittar was this great children. I mean, maybe they will, and maybe I know it's collectible. I'm sure over the years that will happen. maybe not. Who cares? That's all good and fine, and you end up in some books, but most books over the years, exactly. So, I think to me, legacy is all about my children, and so a lot of what I do is for my children. The way I built my house, what was in the house was for the children. Was when I was decorating the house, I made sure I was educating them with what I put in the house. So if there's a painting from 1880 and it's a woman reading a book, women were not allowed to read books. And that's why that was a political painting, because there's a woman reading a book, right? And I want to be able to tell that to the kids. Or we have a painting of these adults looking at a job posting during the Depression. And so, one day I can be like, yeah, that was the Depression when 25% were unemployed. Like,
might be head back into it. So.
Yeah, exactly. Totally, yeah. But I feel like I've never quite grown up. But at the same time, I felt like a very old soul at 20 growing up, with what I had gone through
I've been
in childhood.
dying to know why you were on St. Mark's talking jewelry.
It was wild. I mean,
12.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I was looking at the camera like, I mean, I think my parents are unique. They were unique, I should say. They're both now passed, but kind of revolutionary thinkers in a lot of ways.
They're both professors, right?
They were both professors. They both got their doctorates in American history, which is probably one reason why I love documentaries. And then they switched to computer science in the early 80s. So they had the same degrees. And they believed in teaching us a work ethic. They worked us hard, not for money for them, but we really had to work. I was trying to explain that to my kids, who are definitely not anywhere there. But they were tough. And they set us up, my brother and I, to sell stuff, these plants on the street. They made this beautiful little stand. My mom hand painted it and Dad built it. And my brother hated it, never did it past one day, but I loved it. And so I continued it. That being said, there was a lot of turmoil in my home. My mom became bedridden starting around 10. By the time I was a teenager, the home life was struggling in a big way. They somewhat checked out, and so I could say that I was still continuing selling on the street, but I was now in St. Mark's. I also became a hardcore drug addict, so I got sober at 22. It was a sad story, but there was beautiful stuff in it. That being said, I was selling on the street at a very young age and really had a pretty rough childhood.
Sounds like it.
And by the way, not close to the ages of our kids now.
It's wild.
Crazy.
Could you imagine Sophie or
Do you
or
remember
Avery
my dad
Lila's?
took the kids to when they were 3 on Court Street? Oh my God, my dad came to the house.
Yeah.
And this is in March, like they were 3. And he decided he wanted to take them to Court Street to make money. And he brought them up with some instruments and had them play something. He played something. He made a little cardboard stand. I started getting calls from people like, your dad's on Court Street right now. And
with
I'm
a hat.
With a thing, and he's enjoying himself. And my daughter had dropped the guitar. She's 3. She's like, I'm not into this, And I'm like, I couldn't get a hold of him. And I'm like, I'm like, what the fuck are you thinking? And he's like, you did it. I'm like, okay, that's crazy.
Wow.
But all those Brooklyn Heights moms were like,
of course.
What is your dad doing?
Yeah, what is your dad doing? Yeah, he's a trip. I mean, he's an amazing guy, but definitely
outside the box.
He's not wanting to play in the box.
Yeah, he is.
He is a rebel to the core.
I always wanted to bustle in the streets, so
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it taught me so much.
I bet it did.
So much. Like, I mean, you have to not care what people think.
Yeah, well, I've always wanted to go down in the subway and sing. It's
you
always
have to
been this
literally,
secret dream of
you
mine.
need such strength and armor.
I'm too afraid to do it.
Because what happens is you realize most people use their work and their identity and their clothes to as armor to make them feel safe.
Mm-hmm.
And when you actually stand on the street in New York City to present yourself, people are just walking by it. They're ignoring you. Yeah. So you actually need to build this strength. Like, no, I actually do have something and it will come through and someone will recognize that.
Yeah.
And I'm going to do this with dignity. And then eventually, for me, selling on the street was incredible because I ended up getting a huge reputation when I got sober of designing things, and people would just, I would make, whatever, $1,500 a day in cash.
That's
and
a lot of money.
Yeah. And I was like, okay, you can judge me, but what are you making?
Right.
Right, exactly.
And I know we want to wrap up, but where'd you get the idea to make jewelry to sell? Like, where'd that come from?
Totally self-taught and just started doing it.
You're like, this looks cool. I'm going to go sell this one today.
Yeah.
Your love for documentaries.
Okay.
And with what your parents did.
Oh, I see. Reclaim the Flag. Yeah.
Reclaim the Flag, which came out this past year.
Yeah.
And just touch on that just a little bit because I was there to see it and we were all just completely fascinated.
Oh, thanks. I appreciate it. Yeah. So I made that documentary with Bruce Cohen, who's an amazing producer and won Academy Award for Silver Lining Playbook and also was nominated for Milk and American Beauty. He's incredible, such a sweetheart. He's like another husband now. I think part of, you asked me how do I reconcile? I think what I realized is I'm multifaceted and I need to be able to work in different
mediums.
Thank you, mediums. Yeah. I need to be able to work in different mediums. One of which became politics. When Trump first was reelected, we as a gay family were in Japan in February and, concerned about Project 2025, where are we going? The Heritage Foundation, where is this going? And what will be those points where we might have to leave, know? And for the safety or the messaging around our children. I was thinking about being a gay man growing up in the United States and my history around the United States, which is very conflicted, and also being an Arabic gay man in the United States. Like if someone asked me, if I was in Europe and they're like, where are you from? I would never say, oh, I'm American. I would always say, I'm from New York City.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And I thought, why do I do that?
Uh-huh.
And it was very clear to me, I do that because I view New York City and the values around culture I relate to, LGBTQ, all of it. Like I relate to the values of New York City for good or for bad. It has a lot of shitty values too, but I relate to New York City, kind of this melting pot, right? Being a melting pot. And I was thinking about so many LGBTQ plus men, women who I know who are similar, and I thought it's a shame because we're all kind of standing on the sidelines watching. And how are we actively in this fight for democracy, right? It's not about being a Democrat or Republican. It's literally for democracy. And I came up with this idea about having a short documentary called Reclaim the Flag, which takes us through the journey of what it was like growing up in the United States, being LGBTQ+. How do you feel about the country today? What does the United States flag symbolize to you today? What would you want it to symbolize? And lastly, how do we reclaim the flag? Particularly coming from a place where we never actually claimed it in the first place.
Right.
And so I interviewed 50 leaders from the LGBTQ+ community, all walks of life, and made that documentary. And going back to legacy, all of this is for the kids, right? I want them to see their dad in these conversations like, at one morning I'm like, I'm going to do a documentary. And they're like, okay. And then all of a sudden they're watching me edit the documentary. I edited that documentary.
Wow, you did it yourself?
I didn't do it just myself, but I definitely had to go through the 25 hours and find and then give it to the editor.
I teared up watching your kids walk into the movie theater.
Oh, yeah, you did.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
It actually kind of wrecked me. I'm actually getting teary-eyed now. Because they walked in with Jack and to see them sit 3 rows in front off to the left, it's just like, legacy. This is what I
Same thing with Mamdani. It's like I have him in my house when he was running, and I had the kids sit on the floor, when he is talking, bringing people together, answering really complicated questions, about anti-Semitism from a group that actually did not vote for him.
Yeah.
And I wanted the kids to sit there and hear that conversation. I created that documentary as a way for me to get involved and further a conversation, which we're continuing actually with HRC.
Yeah.
So we'll do that now. Yeah.
What is something that little Alexis, would be shocked to know about the you are today? Like,
little you'd be like, what the fuck?
I think the little me would never have guessed how huge my life would become. Mm-hmm. And I think one of the things that the little Alexis there might have been an inkling of, but had no idea how strong I was. Had no idea the strength that I actually held even when I was that small. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
That's beautiful.
It is beautiful. Wearing jewelry from H&M.
Take it down.
Take it down all the way down. See, I couldn't wear any of my jewelry here because I was afraid you were going to judge me.
Yeah, take it down. Yeah.
Take it down.
Yeah, take it down.
I hear you.
Candlelight. And when I mean that is a lot of venues don't allow candlelights anymore. It has to be fake.
Take two.
Take two on candlelight. On real candlelight?
Yeah,
it's become a thing all over New York.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah.
Okay, I have.
Take two on candlelight.
Take two on candlelight. Let's bring it back.
Crazy.
Take the batteries out.
What?
I know.
That's insane.
Yeah. Mixing silver and gold jewelry, like in the same look.
Take two.
Take two all the way?
Do you.
I believe in you.
Just don't do it at H&M.
I need to buy a bunch of Alexis Bittar pieces.
Well, you don't have to buy mine, but take two. Take two.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Allowing kids to dye their hair.
Oh, definitely take two.
Yeah.
I say take two.
Yeah.
I did that. Sophie was doing it. I don't even know when, at like 7 or something.
Yeah, she was a trendsetter in Brooklyn Heights.
Yeah.
And then Avery started doing it afterward.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
All right.
That's it.
Okay.
This was amazing.
I'm sure we went.
Yeah.
Well, folks, that's a wrap. Thank you so much for tuning in.
And make sure you're following us, subscribing, and liking on all of the social media.
Write us a little review, rate it, do all the things, and make sure to follow us.
Yes, it's at
Love Take Two Pod. That's Love Take Two Pod. Do all the things. Thanks so much. We'll see you next time.